Hi, I'm Kelly, and we're going to be talking today about the planets. Now, I've already talked about the houses, so today will be the planets, and hopefully we'll get through this before George loses his mind. This hopefully will go pretty fast, so let's just start. When you're looking at your chart, the sun is not particularly you. The sun is the fuel that you will be using in this lifetime to help you manifest what needs to be done for your soul to evolve. So when you're looking at the sun, look first, what house is it in? Think of the planets as actors, but they don't have their costuming or lighting yet. You're just giving them their motivation. So if your sun happens to be fifth house, the fifth house has to do with creativity, has to do uh, with children, love affairs, but let's go with just creativity. It's a very creative house, and so if your sun is there, it's going to be kind of a creative outlet. This is what you're going to use, like I said, to manifest in the world. If your sun is Aquarius, I'll use it because it's mine, uh, then you're going to be using an energy that is new. It's mental, it's air. It's in a very creative house, so you're talking about creating things that are new and beneficial to the community. So Aquarius is like, I haven't been able to find a mythology personage that really suits it for me. It's kind of like the Nutty Professor. Uh, so it's that experimental stage, and it's experimenting with different things to help community. I love to create things. I have painted, I have made jewelry, I've was into sewing for a while. um, I am repainting doll faces. I haven't got their clothes done yet. But the faces are painted. And when it comes to my healing work, I'm always blending things together. So when I do Reiki, I'm also doing a reading. Uh, when I'm doing readings, I'm always doing healing work on the person at the same time. I always blend things together. And it also reflects in my surroundings. I have a lot of different statues from Tibet, statues from India, Catholic. I love symbols, and I love to mix them from all different cultures. I like to blend them together, make them something new, make it my own, and that's Aquarius. New, different. So you look at where your sun is. That is the fuel that you're going to be using. Next is the moon. The moon is your past. It is also the mother. It is your emotions. It is what you have done for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And yes, I have it written down here because I will just go off and lose track of what I'm doing. So it is your tribe and the training in your past lives. And it's what you're bringing forward into this life from the past. Mercury is your mental abilities, your communication style, the way you take in information from your surroundings. Jupiter is your path of enlightenment. Uh, it is your vision quest. In a way, it is your search for truth. Saturn has to do with structure and how you deal with the third dimensional reality. It's also the father. Pluto is, of course, the underworld. It is the soul. Uh, it's also the fears, your fears, and it is the chaos that leads to enlightenment. Uranus is unplanned, uncontrolled, unexpected. It is that lightning flash moment. It is the epiphany. Neptune is dreams, visions, and crisis in consciousness. I can't even talk today. Black Moon Lilith is what is hidden, what you suppress. Chiron is the fracture or the wound that you are trying to mend. I'm pretty sure I did the nodes before, but we'll do it again. South node is the job you had in your past life. The north node is what you're working towards this life. Now so look at those as motivations for those people that you're going to put on the stage, and they're going to work with each other. Now, I left Venus and Mars for last because the way I look at them is there's so many levels to them. Mars, of course, is male energy. Venus is female energy. Everyone has both. But of course, if you're in a female body, you're going to want to be drawing from Venus. And if you're in a male body, you're going to be drawing from Mars. So in the chart, in a female's chart, the Mars can be what she's attracted to in a man. However, Mars is also your desire. It is what you want. Now, in a lot of times past, a woman was not allowed to follow that Mars. She couldn't really follow her desire. So usually, if she wanted to study, if she was lucky, there was a male in her life that would have access to that, to studying, so that she could study whatever it was. So now, of course, we actually can follow our Mars. And so Mars is also desire. It is your drive. It is what you want. It is what you want to take. It is an action. Venus is the receptive energy. So in a man, in his chart, the woman that he would be attracted to is the Venus. And Venus, to me, the way I read it in a chart, is also, in a sense, the other in both charts. Because Venus is your sensual nature, yes, sexually, and just in a physical sense, how you sense things. And Mars is sex. It is the male energy. So although Mars is important, it's a drive, it's what you want, it's the long term is going to be that Venus. Because let's face it, a woman has to have her Venus showing in order for the relationship to really work. If you have two charts and the woman's Mars is always being activated by the other person, she's always going to be in her male energy. So that's George. And so when you're looking at chart comparisons, you want to make sure if you're a woman that the other really brings out your Venus. And in a man's chart, you want to make sure that what is being brought out is his Mars, but also don't forget his sensual nature. So there's a lot of levels to those two, because now as women, we can follow our Mars. You know, what is our desire? Look at the, again, look at the house, then look at the sign and the element. And I'm going to go into those signs in my next video. I think it'll probably be at least 2 videos, because I look at the signs very differently. I like to match them up to mythology. And they get kind of in depth. So when it comes to the Venus and Mars, there's just so many levels to them. There's levels to all the planets, but Venus and Mars in particular, there are just so many levels to when you're dealing with it, because they're personal levels within yourself, the 2 dual qualities, and then it has to do with relationship also. So there's just a lot to talk about on them. So when you're looking at a chart or you're doing chart comparisons, usually when you look at a chart, there is one particular theme that comes out. And I think it comes out at a particular time. You can look at the same chart at a different time and you'll see a different theme coming out. And it's just because that's what the person needs at that time. But Venus and Mars in particular are always something that people are looking at, because relationships are important. Relationships, the relationship to yourself is important, and having that male-female quality balanced in yourself and acknowledged in yourself, whether you're male or female, is important. It is just as important as your emotional nature, but it's these 2 energies that you have to balance in yourself. So I think that covers all of them, and I'm pretty sure it does. So when you look at your chart, look at the houses, look at the little players that are in those houses, and know that that is their motivation, whether it's the fuel that is motivating your life, or whether it's the traits you brought in from your past life, your mental abilities. Look at all of those, and the next time we'll go into putting the little costuming on those actors that you now have, and their kind of set or lighting, which is the element that they are in. So I want to thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend. Till next time, this is Kelly. Bye.